All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something that I know has happened to every single one of us. It's that huge, frustrating gap between thinking you know something and actually knowing it when it counts.
I mean, you've been there, right? You're sitting in a lecture or watching a video, and the concept just clicks. The light bulb goes on, everything makes perfect sense. You feel great, super confident, and then exam day comes. You look at the question, and poof, it's just gone. Your mind is a total blank. So, what on earth happened?
Well, according to our source material for this explainer, you've just been tricked. You've fallen for something called the Great Learning Scam. Yeah, it's a pretty dramatic name, but it perfectly describes this mental trap that makes us feel like we're learning when we're really just spinning our wheels.
Okay, so get this. The central idea here is going to challenge pretty much everything you've ever been told about how to learn. We're always told, find the pattern, grasp the logic, connect the dots. But what if that very feeling of getting it is actually the thing holding you back? You see, we're conditioned to chase that aha moment. It feels amazing, it feels productive, but here's the scam. That's not real learning. True, durable learning, the kind that shows up when you're under pressure, that's built through the tough stuff on the right. It's about deliberately and sometimes painfully building a deep memory reserve through lots of practice and forcing yourself to recall information. So why do we fall for this scam so easily every single time? Well, it's not your fault. It's actually a feature, not a bug, of how our brains are wired. And to get it, we need to look at the two basic operating systems running in your head. Here's a simple way to think about it. Your thinking system, that's the heavy machinery. It's slow, it's analytical, and it burns a ton of mental energy. It's what you use for a brand new, tricky problem. Your memory system, on the other hand, is your brain's autopilot. It's lightning fast, intuitive, and runs on everything you've already practiced until it became automatic. It's super energy efficient. And right here, this is the core of the problem. Your brain is fundamentally an energy miser. It's kind of lazy. Given a choice, it will always take the easy, low-energy path of the memory system. That satisfying feeling of understanding a concept is so seductive because it lets our brain off the hook. It feels like we're done, so we don't have to do the actual hard work of practice. Now, to really see this in action, the author gives this perfect real-world example: building a fence. The first half is a total slog. He's using his thinking system, reading the instructions, measuring, making mistakes, re-drilling holes. It's a painful 2.5-hour ordeal. But for the second half, the knowledge has moved. It's in his memory system now. He just flies through it in under 30 minutes, 4 times faster and almost 0 mistakes. That fence story, that is the perfect metaphor for any high-pressure situation, especially an exam. You don't want to be building the fence for the very first time when the clock is ticking. You want to have practiced it so many times that your fast, reliable memory system just takes over, freeing up all that precious mental energy for the really hard questions. So this all leads to a much clearer picture of what mastery actually is. You see, learning doesn't happen on one single path. It happens on 2 totally separate tracks, and we tend to obsess over the wrong one. Path 1 is that stair-step of conceptual growth. It's that moment of instant gratification. You go from not getting it to suddenly, you get it. But path 2, memory accumulation, that's the real grind. It's a slow, gradual climb. There's no exciting aha moment. It's just the steady, repetitive work that makes knowledge automatic and permanent. And I absolutely love this analogy from the source material. You can watch 100 videos and perfectly understand the theory of a deadlift, but that doesn't mean you can actually lift the weight. Understanding the posture isn't the same as having the strength. And in learning, your memory is that strength. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, we know the 2 paths. Now, let's get to the good stuff, the solution. How do we stop chasing that feeling of understanding and start intentionally building that memory reserve?
And it turns out having a powerful memory isn't some kind of magic trick. There's a science to it. The source actually lays out 8 core principles for making memories that are built to last.
Now, we're not going to go through all 8, but let's zero in on 3 of the most powerful ones you can start using right away. First, high recognizability. Your brain remembers clear, concrete pictures way better than abstract words. Second, linear association. Link new ideas in a logical story like A leads to B, which leads to C. And third, use what's already in your long-term memory. Hook new information onto stuff you already know inside and out.
Okay, so how do we actually apply these principles in the real world? Well, the answer comes from a really cool modern twist on a super old technique you've probably heard of, the memory palace.
Now, hold on. When I say memory palace, I want you to forget that intimidating classical version where you have to mentally map out an entire cathedral. No. The modern, everyday memory palace is way simpler and way more practical. It's about using anything in your immediate environment, the stuff on your desk, the buildings on your walk to work, as spontaneous mental hooks to hang new ideas on.
And check out this brilliant and simple example from the source. To remember 3 principles of speaking, true, necessary, and kind, which in Chinese sounds like zhen, bi, shan, the author just used a random thing he saw, a wall shaking and scattering dust, which sounds like bi, zhen, san. It's almost the same sound. He didn't build some elaborate structure. He just created a quick, weird, memorable link. So look, if there is just one single thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Stop chasing the fleeting high of understanding. That's the trap. The real goal, the real work, is the deliberate and effortful practice of transferring knowledge from your slow, energy-hungry thinking system into your fast, reliable, and incredibly powerful memory system.
That, right there, is the path to real mastery. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. After hearing all of this, what's the one study habit, just one small thing, that you're going to change to focus less on just understanding and more on building a memory that actually lasts?